Nigeria's House of Representatives has poked holes in the purported launch of Nigeria Air at the twilight of the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, declaring it a fraud. Chairman of the House Committee on Aviation, Nolim Naji, declared the launch of Nigeria Air a fraud after the major stakeholders in the deal between the federal government and Ethiopian Airlines denied knowledge of the launch.
We want to put on record that the committee and indeed the National Assembly had no role in the purported launch of Nigeria Air or anything related thereof. We as a committee will not accept any attempt by any individual or group of individuals or organization to hide under the project Nigeria Air and siphon our commonwealth. Consequently, the committee hereby resolved to 1. Direct the Federal Ministry of Aviation and its partners in the Nigeria Air project to immediately suspend any operation regarding to Nigeria Air and every other action with respect to Nigeria Air. 2. Urge our new president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the president and commander-in-chief, to, as a matter of urgency, constitute a high-level presidential committee to undertake a holistic review of the processes of the whole Nigeria Air project and advise the government on the way forward. 3. Ensure that all individuals or groups or organizations involved in the controversial Nigeria Air takeoff are brought to book, prosecuted and sanctioned.
Meanwhile, Dayo Olumide, the acting managing director of Nigeria Air, disclosed that the airplane that landed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja on May 26, 2023 was a chartered one from Ethiopia. Olumide, who appeared before the Senate, confirmed that the aircraft in question is a private Ethiopian airline chartered flight that has since returned to Ethiopia. He says Nigeria Air is still in the works. Arise correspondent Omo Bazoaye reports.
Few days after the much anticipated Nigerian Air, a proposed national carrier, touched down at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja, the airline, especially the manner it arrived in the country, has remained a matter of serious controversy. The bad publicity prompted the Senate, through its Committee on Aviation, to grill those directly involved in the project, accusing the immediate past Minister Hadid Sirika, who was absent on the day, of completely shutting them out of the project.
The non-transparent manner in which the Nigeria Air project was awarded to Ethiopian Airlines at the detriment of Airlines Operators of Nigeria, AON, which has given way to surrendering our sovereign wealth to foreigners as claimed by the airline operators in Nigeria in one of their petitions to the committee.
The Nigerian Air was flown into the country wearing an Ethiopian registration number, fueling suspicion in many quarters, including that of the Senate. When asked about the whereabouts of the aircraft, the interim managing director of Nigerian Air, Dapo Olamide, broke the ice when he told lawmakers that what they saw was an Ethiopian chartered flight to show Nigerians and shareholders what the logo of Nigerian Air looks like on a real aircraft.
So when this aircraft came in on a charter flight, everybody said, "We have launched Nigeria Air." And I thought this was very interesting because there are learned people in the aviation industry who could have countered that when social media came out, but they chose not to. But that's fine, I'm here to explain. It was just a charter flight.
Olumide, who was brought in last February to help secure air operating license for Nigerian Air, said the hired aircraft had since returned to Ethiopia and that the proposed national carrier is yet to be licensed.
But the problem is that when you change what we call post holders, you're a post holder, for example, all of you are post holders on the committee. Post holders in aviation is a technical term for director of maintenance, chief pilot, all those type of things. When you change them and replace them completely, you have to go back to phase one to interview them. They have to be interviewed to be compliant and acceptable to the authorities.
The Senate panel was not particularly satisfied with his explanation, wondering why the ex-royal minister had to rush the process and create the impression the Nigerian Air was up and running, the minister was quoted to have said 4 more aircraft would follow.
Why will you, for whatever reason, having an interim MD, be in a hurry to unveil a national carrier on the last day of your administration? Why?
As it is today, you are not starting well. You have image problem from day one. What you did was, we should come and see, you know. But being as that is me, I want to know that in Nigeria, this kind of strategy doesn't really work.
The logo and name of Nigerian Air was unveiled at Farnborough Air Show in the United Kingdom 5 years ago. But the project has been a matter of serious controversy, a situation the Ninth Senate, in a last-ditch effort, is hoping to resolve. Omo Bazwaye, Arise News.
Joining us now on the morning show is Francis Akinjole, General Secretary, Air Transport Services, Senior Staff Association of Nigeria at SAN. Good morning and welcome to the morning show.
Good morning, everybody in the studio.
Well, Mr. Akinjole, good morning. Well, let's ask you very quickly.
Doctor.
Yeah, is Nigeria Air real or is it a scam, as some people allege? And ATSAN is considered a stakeholder in this matter. What is the stake of your association? So that we know where you are coming from.
Well, Hassan or myself, voice cannot be better or more than any other Nigerian's force in what has been exhibited. It's obvious that we have been able to draw a pitiable conclusion of whether it is a scam or real. Res ipsa loquitur. The fact speaks for itself.
Okay, all right. So,
No,
no,
you didn't quite answer the question. I asked you, why are the Senior Staff Association in that sector, what is their stake? Are you being sponsored by some people or you have specific issues that you disagree with? You need to unveil that. It's not enough to just come on television and say res ipsa loquitur.
Okay, you see, it's very, very clear to all Nigerians the role we have been playing in the aviation industry in the time past and that we are still continuing. It's like we have been all alone in this struggle. It's not limited to Nigeria Air Project alone. There was a list of roadmap that was unveiled to Nigeria on the 16th of May 2016. Concession of 4 major airports is the first on the list, while Nigeria Air is the second. We have been shouting, but it appears nobody was ready to listen to us. Or what is happening today is not surprising to people like us, because we have already seen us in all these projects, right from the developmental stage to the point where we find ourselves today. We are not surprised. We are not surprised. Nigeria here should be a laudable project. But we have always been saying something. And what is that? Transparency in everything that the recent past minister is doing to turn the aviation round into positive endeavors. The secrecy involved in all this has been our battle. So we have always maintained a stand as unions, not even only in Assam, that many things are in the opaque and not very clear to us. The main reason why we are very, very much involved in the concession project is because we were directly involved. And that was how and why we rescued the minister to get us involved in the initial stage. And that was the reason why we were even able to see the outline business case This Nigerian Air project we are talking about, we never saw the outline business case. We never. Even the concession that they just said they have concluded, the full business case that they said that so many issues we raised about the outline business case will be addressed was never revealed to us. So we are not surprised the way it has turned to. We have nothing against Nigeria here as a union. Even as an individual, if Francis Akinjole doesn't have anything against Nigeria here. But how is it going to come up? How are we coming about it? That is the issue. And because of the way they have been prosecuting it, that is why we have found ourselves where we are today. It's unfortunate.
Okay. All right, Mr. Akinjole, just to take you back on something you said with regards to that there have been holes in the process, I'd like you to share with us what were some of the holes you identified. You talked about it not being transparent. That's in agreement with the submissions of the Senate, the House Committee on Aviation. What were the other holes? What did they not do properly that you want to speak about this morning? Please share with us some of those holes.
You see, if we begin to point out the holes as they were, we may not live here today. I think what is appropriate to cover it all is lack of transparency. Lack of transparency. And I want to presume that there must be reasons for that. There must be reasons for that. I wouldn't want to start highlighting reasons because they may come out to debunk them. But why have there not been transparency at every stage of the project? I just gave you an example now.
Yes, I just want to just pierce in a little and just ask you to be a bit more specific. You've talked about lack of transparency. In the process leading up to what happened on the 26th of May, what were some of those things that you as an association, as a body, ought to have been informed about, or ought to have been aware of, as with other Nigerians as well? Because we talk about these things. You said it's a laudable project. In the event that this takes flight, what are some lessons that we can learn? What areas should be more open, should be more transparent?
Like I said, there are stages in the process of bringing things on board. The first stage was the conception, which they can claim prerogative of. After which, the OBC are supposed to be released. I said, till now, the unions never saw the OBC in the Nigerian Air project, but we got in the concession. Other stakeholders that are directly involved, for example, the AON, Airline Operators of Nigeria, they are supposed to be availed the OBC for them to do an X-ray of it. Whether they did this or not, I am not aware. Procurement process is supposed to be fully advertised in line with the policy of the ICRC. It's supposed to be known to all Nigerians, not even to all, expected bidders. I cannot say that Nigerians will say that they are aware of this. And even at a point, it became a public knowledge that an agency of government was being coerced to issue AOC to this Nigeria here, until when those that were saddled with this responsibility in NCAA, to be specific, threatened to resign their appointment if they are forced to issue this AOC, it had to die down. So, lack of transparency all the way. And they will come out at some point in time and say they are doing stakeholders meeting just to dance to the public. What is being discussed there? Nothing significant. Nothing significant. Okay. That's why some of Nigerians are surprised when they saw what they saw. When it was being ranked that Nigeria Air will fly before 29th of May, some of us were just laughing. We were just laughing at them. And there was a limit to which we can wage this struggle on Nigeria here. I can remember when we were fighting against concession, we were called due to our petition by the National Assembly. The National Assembly told us point blank that we are not more representative than them, that they were voted in to power and they have the right to represent Nigerian people, not our unions. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. There are so many things wrong about it.
Okay, so a couple of things. This has been on since 2018. When they went to do the logo to show it off at the Fambro Air Show, and they started this, the union was not kept, in the know as regards this. I'm happy you brought about the issue of the AOC. In fact, it was said that some people sacked when they threatened them that if they don't give them the AOC certification from the NCAA, they were not going to, some people sacked, because I hear that some people were actually sacked, And you that you are talking now, I know you couldn't have said it if Hadi Sirika was still minister. It's because he has gone now that you have the liberty to say it. Also, please confirm to me, I also heard, confirm to me maybe it's true or false, that after the plane did blow empty to come to Nigeria based on the arrangement, that same plane, that Ethiopia Air sold tickets on that plane and they carried passengers away from the country back to Ethiopia when it left. Can you confirm to me as regards that?
No, I cannot confirm that. I can't confirm that, but nothing, like I said, is impossible at that point in time. Nothing is impossible. A chartered plane that came to do what? That is what we are interrogating now. What do we charter plane for? Is it to come and show? And maybe those people, I'm just speculating now, maybe they don't want to lose all round. And they just decided to put some people on board. It is not impossible, but I cannot confirm that.
Okay.
Okay. No, the other part of the question I asked, were people from the NCAA actually sacked? Because when they threatened them that they must ensure that an AOC is delivered before they will fly, the story I heard is not that people also threatened to leave, that they actually sacked some people at that NCAA illegally because they did not join to perpetrate the illegality. Were some people sacked?
No. We haven't got any report to that effect.
Okay.
We have not gotten any report to that effect.
Okay. Mr. Akinjole, well, from my own reading of the conversation on this subject, opinion is divided. There are some people who are kicking. There are some people who say it's a good idea. Yesterday, we quoted Bashir Ahmed, who says there is nothing called fraud in this matter. Reno Omokri also says there is no problem. He thinks it's a good development. Now, you have now defined for us the substance of the matter. You say it's lack of representation, stakeholder involvement. That's the same thing that the Senate Aviation Committee is saying, that the House of Reps Committee is saying. But what would you recommend as a way forward? Because there seems to be a consensus on the fact that the aviation industry in Nigeria lacks capacity. Many of these are airlines, well, if you put all the number of aircraft that they have, not up to 50. Some of those airlines, domestic airlines, don't even have more than 2 aircraft. So how do we, re-energize that industry? Since you are a stakeholder in that industry, can we begin to generate ideas as to what to do? And also what this new administration should do about Nigeria Air and the controversy that has come up?
Yes, though I didn't quite get the first segment of your questions, but if I may begin from the rear, some of us don't even believe that we lack that capacity as a nation.
We lack capacity.
I mean, our aviation industry. We do not. Yes, if you look through the roadmap that was presented in 2016, this was actually established, and the ministry took it upon itself to facilitate how this can be sorted. But if we have to gauge the military, the ministry, even from what it has set out for itself to achieve, we can begin from there. What has the ministry done to help the operators in this industry? Jet A1 was even specifically mentioned in this roadmap that was developed by the ministry. We are still experiencing the paucity of Jet A1, which is aviation fuel. And just like PMS, that is now disturbing every Nigerian today, aviation fuel is one of the problems being faced by the airline operators. Maintenance is part of it. How are they harnessing foreign exchange to do their maintenance, which are majorly done externally from the shore of our lands? All these are what should be addressed first. It is not that Nigerians cannot come together to float a flag carrier or a national carrier, but the enabling environments are not being provided by the government, especially through the Ministry of Aviation. They have realized all this, and it was expected that even if not 100%, 80% of this must have been looked into before we resorted ourselves into this skirmish of a soul. Are you aware that even the Ethiopian here that we are leaning upon now is only owned by the Ethiopian government? Are they superhuman beings? The answer is no. We should provide the environment, the enabling environment, for our investors to come up and exhibit their nationalism.
Well, Mr.
They are trying.
Mr. Akinjole, sorry to interrupt you. I was asking for your specific recommendations. But what is the main fear of these stakeholders in the industry, particularly the airline operators of Nigeria? Is it the fear that a foreign airliner like Ethiopia Airline will squeeze out domestic operators, even with the window provided for domestic airliners to, be part of Nigeria Air? These are the things we want to know. And what will be your recommendations now that we have a new government in place? Let's go beyond the complaints. What are your specific recommendations?
Well, I don't want to align myself with that position that domestic airlines are afraid of competition. I don't want to believe that, because there are some new entrants that are entering our aviation industry in the past few years, and they are being accommodated. The Ethiopian airline, yes, truly, they may come with undue advantage. However, competition will regulate that. But another question is, are we being granted similar advantages in their own territory? No. And this is one of the reasons why the BASA agreement was created. I want to advise the new government to start, if we are talking about domestic operation, to start as much as possible by providing enabling environment for the airline operators of Nigeria to perform effectively. I've said some of these. It's not a rocket science that if the cost of maintaining their aircrafts are brought down, they will be able to acquire more engines. And if Jet A1 is made available, the prices will come down. They will acquire more aircraft. Nigerians will be better for it. Flying is no longer a luxury thing for human being. It is no longer. If you go to the motor park now, you will see how much they are entering buses. to their various destinations across the country. So they need to, first of all, provide the enabling environment for them to make it easy for the local operators to operate. Then they will even discover that we don't need any foreign intervention as such. Let them focus on some few things for a start. It's even possible that they even suspend indefinitely this Nigerian Air project. Let the ones that are already operating here become viable for the betterment, for the enjoyment of Nigeria and other country citizens. I think that is where we should start from.
Okay.
They know what to do.
Thank you for your recommendations. Yes, as you said, they might know what to do, but it seems sometimes as if they don't. And recommendations from personnel like yourself or organizations or associations like yours could possibly aid this new administration. But when we look at Nigeria Air, we cannot but look back at Virgin Nigeria and what happened there, because the principles are quite similar. In terms of Virgin Atlantic, the global group owning 49%, in this case, the Nigerian Air, it would have been Ethiopian Airlines. How it started off really well and then unfortunately wasn't able to continue due to challenges. And one can't but wonder whether some lessons that could have been learned from that experience to help going forward. Because you're of the opinion that it's a laudable project, we should have a national carrier, but the same issues that plagued Virgin Nigeria still seem to be in place. Years later, not much seems to have been done. Do you still think this should be a priority? Should we still have a national carrier despite the prevailing challenges?
That was the last point of departure at my immediate last intervention. I said that if we have not exhibited enough of required patriotism, is it not better for us to even suspend that project now and help those that are on ground? They continue to improve. Nobody can tell me that they are not improving. They continue to improve. The benefits of Nigeria here, it will even be eroded by what they are planning for us. It's a private partnership arrangement. Nigeria is meant to have only 5% of the equity. So it's still private as far as we are concerned. So why don't them now invest more on helping the people that are already in the business so that the business can be more attractive to other people that may want to come in? If we are saying Nigeria here should be only governmental now, we say that, okay, maybe some things will come free again, but nothing comes free in this arrangement. So why are we belaboring ourselves about it? Why must we come and scam ourselves 3 days to the departure of an administration? So definitely there is more to it. Yes, we had the experience of the Virgin Nigeria. It still boils down on patriotism and nationalism. We are just interested in what we can get from anything in Nigeria as individuals. And the people in government should take the lead. If they take the lead, others will queue up behind them. They have not demonstrated enough will to show us that we should take our country the way it should be taken. That is why we are finding ourselves in this problem. Everybody wants to keep money. Use one fictitious project or the other to siphon our common patrimony. That is not where we should be. If Nigeria here will continue to subjugate us into psychological masturbation, is it not better for it to be rested? And let's concentrate on improving the ones that are on ground.
So what I'm even saying is now, couldn't the federal government that bought the debt of Arik Air invest in local airlines and sort of like have them as a Nigeria Air flag carrier. Airlines like Air Peace, airlines like Arik Air that the federal government owns now because of the AMCOM purchase. Couldn't we have done that rather than go on this wild goose chase? Because there are a lot of local airlines that could take some money. Take, for instance, during COVID, the airlines lost a lot. The federal government was supposed to inject some money. The money was inadequate. Couldn't we have done that within rather than this wild goose chase that has brought us shame internationally? A right-wing newspaper in America, Breitbart, took the story that Nigeria's president leaving office gives Nigerians fake airline. It's sad that I'm quoting Breitbart. Breitbart is supposed to be of no contest here because it's just purely right-wing and they take a lot of stories that are not true. But even Breitbart waded in on this. That's to show you how much of a shame this has been. Couldn't we have looked at our local airlines in the country and put money and inject and call them flag carriers?
Yes, you are very, very correct, Rufai. You see, if Nigeria should pounce on Aero and Harik to be made Nigeria, yeah, the litigation surrounding them, especially on the side of Harik, could be an albatross to that decision. Recently, Johnson Arumeme just secured a kind of relief that Harik should be given back to him. I think the first thing the government ought to do is to try and see how to resolve all these litigations. Even in Heru, you will be surprised that the legacy owners still have stakes in Heru. So all these encumbrances have to be addressed first. But like I said, they have decided that we are going private. Nigeria has become a capitalist country, awesomely. So why don't them try and provide an enabling environment for those players that will come into the industry instead of leaving rooms for some people to think of the alternative, to elect the alternative of continuing scamming Nigerians. This is what we need now. The fly public don't want to know. They don't want to know how things come by. What they want is good airport and a functional aircraft to take them to and from where they are going to. And they should be able to afford it. These are what Nigerian government are supposed to concentrate their efforts upon. Jet A1, what is making it so difficult for it to be provided? What? Because this is the first excuse. And this is one of the main reasons why flights are cancelled. This should be looked into. If Nigeria Air comes on board, are they going to be provided a separate refinery locally to get this sorted?
But Jet A1 has been deregulated, isn't it? It's been deregulated. The government doesn't have a hand in Jet A1 any longer.
Yes, now.
Yeah.
Yes, just as we deregulated kerosene and diesel.
Well, Mr. Akinjole, let me ask you. The model of converting a domestic airline to a national airline, we tried that before. Before Nigeria Air, we had something called Air Nigeria. It did not work. Okay? So, we've been on this, so saying bring the domestic airlines together and convert them, as you've pointed out, as, specific issues. But there's something that I would like to understand. Dakolumide was saying what was done recently is unveiling, not launch. Now, you are in that industry. What's the implication of that clarification that you tried to push across? That what was unveiled was Nigeria Air, not a launch. and that there is nothing wrong in, the fact that Nigeria had to charter an aircraft to unveil rather than launch. What's your understanding of that within the industry in which you play?
Even beyond the industry, what is the significance of unveiling? Is it not what is ready you unveil? After they unveiled their Nigerian here, has it started operation? So you see, we should not allow ourselves to be fooled continuously. They attempted it, and they have seen that majority of Nigerians are not fooled now. What you don't have, you don't unveil. The project is yet to be concluded. So what are we unveiling? Have they done, after that unveil, have they done any demonstration flights? The answer is no. Or are they counting on the flight from Mogadishu, or what did they say that Nigeria even came from as a demonstration flight? You see, this thing is opened now. That is the fact. It's opened. It's opened. Everybody knows what has happened. And we should not be fooled again. That is why I am taking a slight departure even away from that project. Let us build those that are presently operating so that we can give sign of relief as passengers.
All right. I mean, they can't demonstrate because they said it wasn't a launch, it was just an unveil. And you said you don't, there's no difference between the both of them. Now, one other area in terms of this project, why the House had termed it as a scam, as fraud, depending on the name you want to call it, is also, as you mentioned, transparency in the money spent on this project. We can even backtrack, right, from how much was spent on the unveiling that happened on the 26th of May. Who's going to fund that? How much has been spent on this project so far? Do you have the numbers? Are you aware? Has it been transparent?
I get to know all this through the media as well. And I want to believe that the National Assembly, the two chambers, have a job to do in this direction. They have oversight functions. They should investigate this and get to the root. They should investigate it.
Okay.
They have full support of our unions.
Okay, I want to take you back to something you said just now. And for the information of a lot of Nigerians, what's the scam going on with Jet A1 fuel? That's why, because you laugh, you said just like with deregulated diesel and kerosene. What's the scam going on with that is affecting this sector? Because only recently, prices of airline tickets went up over 100%, and even the CBN had to come into buffer for the airlines to be able to buy Jet A1. What's going on in that sector?
Well, I am of the opinion that the NNPC should come to our rescue in addressing this question you have just posted to me. Are they not the main importer, if not the only importer of all this? I remember recently, the recent past, the airline operators of Nigeria clamored for the federal government to allow them direct importation. Has that been done? I am not aware. I'm not aware. And as important as this fuel is to the industry, there is nothing wrong in giving them this waiver. Because of the involvement of the various middlemen, things have to happen negatively.
But why should they give them a waiver when it's been deregulated? Is this not supposed to be the factors of production and the economy is supposed to take its course? Is that not what we've done with petrol? So why should they be giving waivers when it's deregulated already? That's what I'm asking you.
No, what I'm saying is that they should be allowed to import it. Why must it be only the NNPC that has to import everything?
But it's deregulated already.
Why?
Well,
but it's deregulated already.
You said?
It is deregulated already, so that means the deregulation is faulty. Because if it is fully deregulated, you should be able to allow people that import it, sell it. That's what deregulation is supposed to be. Or create local refineries to produce that same product.
What are the enabling environments that will guarantee the full implementation, positive implementation of that deregulation?
Okay, on that note,
where are they getting their forex from? That is one of it.
Okay, on that note, Mr. Francis Akinjole, I would like to thank you very much for joining us on the morning show.